coding of a different nature. This is the digital world's newest fad, NFTs.
Exactly.
Non-fungible tokens.
Which is something that's, I think, very interesting, especially here in Malaysia. It really boomed up within 2021 to early 2022.
With that Malaysian artist who sold her NFT art to Snoop Dogg. Exactly.
That's like insane, right? The fact that, NFT is making an impact in the digital world, because subsequent also making an impact in the art world as well. Because now people are seeing digital art or artwork in a different manner. Because a lot of people are asking, why is NFT so expensive? What value does NFT have? Because at the end of the day, you cannot essentially sell it. It's not something that people buy and immediately want to trade back. It's not something that's like, an investment, immediately you will make money. It's more for your sentimental value. It's more for, you like the artwork. For example, like the Mona Lisa, it's only one in the world. And
but
if people want to buy
physical.
it, they cannot.
You can see the Mona Lisa. With a digital version of that, you can't essentially see it, but you can own it. So let's get into talking about what this whole new digital world is all about. We have Fariz Hanapiah, Creative Technology Director with Experiential Design. And we also have Irsyad Saidin, the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of pentas.io. Terima kasih kerana bersama kami.
Morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing?
Yes, good, great.
Yep, I'm good.
All right. It is great to be back with you. I know you guys are very knowledgeable on this subject. So when Bitcoin came out, a lot of people were confused. When blockchain came out, blockchain and Bitcoin essentially came out at the same time, because it's the same thing. So people were confused. When NFT is out, I believe there are a lot more people confused out there, and they want to understand what NFTs are. So we've been trying to do our best. I think we stumbled along the way. Can you guys explain what an NFT essentially is?
Right. So NFT stands for non-fungible tokens, like you mentioned just now. But basically, what it is, if you do an art, NFT is a certificate that comes with the art to prove its authenticity.
Right.
So I have the physical art.
It can be physical art, it can be digital, but for now, mostly digital, because that is where it makes sense to have a authentication on who are the creators of the art. So this, by having NFT, allows digital creators to authenticate their work. So this is mine, I'm able to trade it, I'm able to sell it, and whoever owns it are able to sell it to other people as well. So that's basically it, what NFT is all about.
But it's not just that, right? With that digital art, you can add things to it. So it's not just like a digital certificate. You can throw in a contract in there. You can throw in copyright in there. You can throw in a lot of things.
Actually, I love to go for a bigger scope, because when we see NFT is a non-fungible. Non-fungible means something which is unique. Unique can be anything. It can be music, it can be individual, it can be a person. When it comes to token is things that represent. Because if we go to arcade, actually, if you want to play any game, right, we buy a token. So that is representing.
Wait, she don't understand.
do you go to arcade?
Let me just, I am the generation of arcade as well. Okay.
So something unique that you can represent in a token. It can be anything. It can be property. It can be a vaccination certificate. It can be land. It can be music. It can be arts. Actually, many things. But of course, for now, we see arts as a first starting point, because that is the most low-hanging fruit, where the entire the world can start to adopt. But of course, it can go beyond that.
Okay.
Can adopt, they can appreciate something that it's easy for them to understand, right? I actually want to know, how did NFTs suddenly became so popular, especially within the past 2021, because it blew up everywhere. You can see it from organizations like the NBA, from big corporations, to even artists are selling their artwork in an NFT form.
Yes. Because if you ask me, basically I will touch based on how internet was based on internet history. Because when first internet introduced, we call it Web 1. Web 1 is very static website. And then Web 2, where people can read and write. So you can publish content, you can write content, at the same time you can consume content. Now we are in an era where internet moved into Web 3. Web 3, not only you can read and write, but you can own. Why this we can own is because blockchain was introduced. Blockchain is a public ledger where there's a trustable solution, there's a trustable network that indicates who owns what. When you have a global trustable entity that indicates, okay, you own this digital asset, you own this digital asset, this gives value, and this also creates the scarcity that you mentioned earlier. So that's why I think if it goes back to certain things like why certain NFT is expensive and why people can also sell, is because it goes back to scarcity and digital asset.
Right.
Okay, it can be scarce, it can be digital, but that is not necessarily a determination factor when it comes to value. Because sometimes you can list an NFT today for, let's say, 7.5 Ether. All right, you list it for 7.5 Ether. Tomorrow you wake up and see, hey, it's only 0.75 Ether, because no one thinks it's 7.5 Ether except you. Right. So when it comes to NFTs, would it be fair to say that it's just a fad, it's going to fade?
No, I think it will be there for longest time. We're just touching the tip of the iceberg at the moment. So the idea here is that, like Irsyad mentioned, that everything actually can be proven, the ownership, all right? So NFT allows you to do that. And for me, I used to be a graphic designer, all right? Like graphic designer, we used to only do commission jobs, right? So client comes in, they want a logo, we design a logo. They want a poster, we design a poster. We deliver it to them, and they pay us, right? But going back in terms of how this suddenly becomes something new for graphic designers is that now graphic designers has the new platform and opportunity to create art, right? And this is a new platform for them to actually jump into just doing commission work to create their own art, right? And before, art is only limited to the, the traditional art where you put it up on a gallery, so you have collectors there coming in and buy your stuff. And why collectors don't buy digital art is because there's no proof of authenticity before this, right? So now, when you can do that, it opens up a really big, vast sort of universe, right? Because we are very much living in a digital world these days, right? And we spend our daily hours mostly on your phones and your computers. So this is what we see every day. So what are the items that you see are actually properties. And these can be owned by creators, right?
Right.
And by having NFT, finally these creators can have direct relationship with the buyers. So this is how the boom comes in, especially last year, when they see this opportunity to actually get in. And it's a life-changing experience for these
creators and
creators,
and artists.
Like I said, when it has artistic value, it's cool. I mean, we can see the artistic value. But when it's a tweet by Jack Dorsey worth millions, then you start
2.5 million.
Scratch your head, like, what in the world is this? Or a collage of someone's selfies, you know? I mean, it may be art to somebody, obviously it was, because millions were paid for that. But then again, to someone who's looking at it from a non-artistic perspective, you go like, what is this?
Okay, so basically value can come from many perspectives. It can come from the visual representation, how visually it looks like, but also it can come from historical timeline. Because when we see the Jack Dorsey, why it is so valuable, there is a huge historical value. Because that is the first tweet. Like if there's a solution where NFT allows the entire world can see who owns that, that's part of bragging right. That gives value because you are not owning that a simple text, but you are own part of history. So value can come from many perspectives.
All right.
In that sense, though, as a artist, because we see that, I think the pro here as an artist, if you're selling your NFT or selling your artwork, right, through NFT, is that you, like we said, you have the digital certificate where you know it's authentic. You know that you are the creator, and therefore, if it's sold, you get a portion or royalty, and however the contract works, right? As a buyer, what are some of the benefits of buying NFTs? Is it in terms of authenticity? Oh my gosh, another way I cannot pronounce it. I'm gonna compile all the words I cannot pronounce on this show, guys.
And put it on an NFT.
Yes, and then make it an NFT. Then it has this historical value. But so as a buyer, what are the benefits do I get through buying an NFT? Do I get will I be able to trade this Jack Dorsey tweet in 10 more years and get tens and millions of dollars, or will I be able to at least have, again, you said bragging rights?
Bragging rights, of course you can resell it if you want to. But it goes back to the same question. I think all of us, we have a Twitter account. How crucial it is for us to have the blue check mark? Or if you're on Instagram, how crucial is that for us to have that check mark? That is our social representation. How do we present ourselves? Because nowadays, most of it is on digital form. You imagine the next generation, because of course our kids nowadays, when they're born, they already have a tablet on their phone. The way people consume digital content will be different. And how do you present yourself in digital form? It can be what you own, which is everyone can see what you own. So it goes back to the same concept where how important it is for you, if you have a social platform like Instagram or Twitter, to have that blue check mark.
Right. To have that, you know.
I'm
saying
still
that-
shrugging my shoulders because I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
Is it
but
important to you to have the
it's-
blue tick?
Oh, as a content creator or as a person in the public space or in the digital space, it's actually very, very important to prove that you are who you are and you don't have, fake accounts and all that. I know a local TikToker or / influencer as well who recently collaborated. I'm not sure if it was Pentas.io, collaborated and she collaborated with artists and they made her NFT and it got sold. And what she did with the money was actually put it back into charity. So those are the good things that we can see
Big heart.
through NFT, right? What are some of the other benefits besides monetary benefits?
NFT can also come with utility. Example, I think in Pentas we have Red Giants. They just launched the NFT.
Yes.
Right? Red Giants, not only you can own that as a merchandise, but there's a perks given to you. Right? Maybe you have a VIP seat. You have access to players. Those are utility that can come together with NFT. It depends on the issue of what they want to do.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. I mean, okay, so I have this NFT, but I also have a lot of physical
Utility.
things that I can do with the NFT on top of owning the digital content.
Gamings are into this as well. if I'm not
Gamers, yes,
mistaken, right?
that's where it all started.
Yeah. How does this work in the gaming world? Let's say if I buy an NFT, how can I use it in relation to my gaming space?
You see, it's the same concept as a stock photo.
Okay.
Because gaming, you buy asset in games. But what if you purchase an asset, you can still trade it, right? I think back in those days, if people want to buy photo, they just buy stock photo. But can you resell back that stock photo? Can you flip it?
Yep.
Do you really own that? No. But when it comes to game, you can buy a certain weapon. It's owned by you. You can resell it back. So this is additional values because of NFT.
And to add to that also, when you talk about having NFTs, it's interoperable. So for instance, I give you an example of like my kid. She likes to play Roblox, right? She might have spent some of my money in buying stuff in there, right? But there is a value stored in this asset in Roblox, all right? Say, for instance, if she grows up, she no longer plays Roblox, she wants to play something else, right? For now, whatever we invested in that game are stuck in that ecosystem, very close ecosystem. You can't do anything with it, right? So the idea of having NFTs and blockchain is that you can transfer that value to another game that you're going to play as you grow up. So it won't be a loss for them.
Right.
So these things can be brought as you grow older, and probably your interests change, and this thing actually has value, and all these things interchangeable.
Probably that would be
Keep your
something
NFTs.
that game designers might want to consider, because if you just have a Doom hammer, Warhammer in a certain game, let's say Dota, you have a Doom hammer, Warhammer in Dota, but you can't use it in Fortnite. So if game operators were to collaborate, maybe you could one day see someone wielding the Doom hammer in Fortnite, although it wouldn't make sense, but
It's very possible.
it could be possible.
Or LOL. Similar concept.
Similar
Okay,
concept. There's some pitfalls with NFTs, of course, that we have to talk about. First and foremost, copyrights. When it comes to laws, they don't really extend into the NFT universe just yet. There are no legal frameworks, because NFTs are international, basically.
Yep.
So there are no legal frameworks to encapsulate this universe, as you mentioned. When I purchase a photo on this NFT platform, in the physical space, the owner of that photo can still take copyright action against me. Maybe if it's not a stock photo, perhaps someone who owns the Simu Liu stock photos of yesteryear before he became a Marvel superhero,
Before he became Shang-Chi.
may be exempt from it. But if, let's say, I own or I purchase an NFT of a famous royal, maybe Prince Harry, I don't know, if you want to own his photo, he can still take action against me for owning it.
Basically, what I say NFT, if you use it as you want to sell, you want to trade, for me, I see it is still treated as a commercial purpose. So if it is commercial, it is we play the same books, we play the same rules, as simple as that. Yeah, because because what we see NFT, of course, there are multiple purpose, utilities, and so on and so on. But when it comes to you want to commercialize it, you want to earn something from it, it will fall under commercial.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's still subject to copyright law.
Yes, yes.
Right. So before you decide to make somebody else's face or somebody else's, artwork into an NFT, digitalize it, make sure to discuss some copyright, make sure you pay your artists. I think that's the most important part, is that as artists, it's so easy to, and it's somewhat it's digital, you can copy it exactly, right? Versus a physical painting where there is some sort of variation, whatever, the strokes are different, yada yada. I want to talk about I know we wanted to stay off this topic, I know we have a lot of time, but throughout my research, a lot of other big companies as well mentioned the environmental impact of NFT. You have something to actually say about it, right? About energy consumption and how, at the end of the day, how much power it actually takes to make an NFT or sustain this crypto world. What do you have to say about that? What's your opinion about it?
Okay, in blockchain spaces, there are many approach of protecting the network or protecting the ledger. And there are two most common approaches. Actually, this is a bit technical. First is a proof of work, and another one is proof of stake. As of now, the one that use most consumption is actually proof of work. This is like Bitcoin is using proof of work. This is the one that use a lot of energy. But of course, in blockchain space, there are many other alternatives, and even in international, there's a cleannft.org. This is one of the organizations that monitor which marketplace actually complies with the Green Energy Initiative. So you have a choice. People have a choice.
Do your research before you purchase anything.
Correct.
Another thing I want to know is that what happens if this server suddenly one day, let's say the generator is not working, everything's not working, and it completely it blanks out.
Okay.
What happens to your NFT and what happens to the value of it?
It's good to bring this up because there's one powerful thing about blockchain is actually it's not centralized. The information is actually distributed. Nobody have control. Even for us at Impentas, we don't have a control to simply transfer NFT to everyone. It is governed by a lot of a blockchain network. Plus, it is in the source code, which is even us we cannot alter or modify. So this is so powerful, that's why this digital asset, nobody has control of it. The people has the control of it.
Right. So the blockchain is something that's being used to secure networks, not just in NFT or cryptocurrency, but also in actual security frameworks like airport security and other essential services like finance. So blockchain is powerful, yes, we understand. But with this NFT also comes the embedded nature of smart contracts, which a lot of people overlook. A smart contract can be something like, for instance, if I want to sell my picture, I embed a smart contract to say that every time this picture is sold, I still get 30% on that sale, which is good for me.
That's the beauty about NFT.
It may not be good for you as a buyer.
That's the beauty about NFT. Because what if there's a solution where every time you create something, every time it is being traded, you receive a royalty forever?
But as a buyer, do you want that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a buyer, you're a responsible buyer. You understand that you're buying a value that is being created by the creators. So they have to be rewarded by their creations. So this whole idea of decentralized is democratizing the whole idea of celebrating value creation. So this is what we're in. We're not in for the 100% profit, maximizing profit, but rather we want the ecosystem to run, and we are able to buy more things and help the creators community to do even more.
Right.
So this is the whole idea of NFTs.
Leonardo
so no
da Vinci
middleman.
So you're missing out.
Scrolling in his grave and be like, I should have just been born years later and invested in NFTs, right? I want to know, besides where a lot of NFTs I see now are artwork or they are art pieces. I want to know, what do you think the trend for 2022 will be in terms of the NFT world? So, what else can they be?
I think utility has to come in. Like Irsyad mentioned about the Red Giants project that we did, is more of a utility. So whoever owns the NFT will be able to access all of these perks, being sort of like a supporters club member. Right, so probably you'll be seeing a lot of this popping up in the near future. People wanting to have physical interaction with whatever NFTs that they buy. It's not just stuck in your wallet. So you see physical perks coming in as well. And also, I would say we haven't touched about this. One important thing is the community side of things, right? So if you have a creator and you have NFTs, when we buy into an NFT, basically we're joining a community as well. So depending on what the creators' causes are, so we are also in that same cause as well with the creator, all right? So building this community allows you to have this sort of group that you're a big part of, and you are able to vote on things, what you need to do with the funds being created, the pool of funds that are being created in the sales. You are able to decide. So this thing is called DAO, DAO in short. DAO, yeah.
DAO.
So yeah, I'll give an example of Selangor Red Giants. Basically, you're giving fans to be able to decide on the chants, on the banner that they should print on the stadiums.
Wow.
So this sort of things that before is really hard to do. Right now, we are able to do that.
Yeah, I see that. What I think I'm not the biggest. I don't have the most knowledge in terms of this cryptocurrency world, right? But what I've learned from it and what I've observed is that it is really about the community, and it's really people empowering people and people deciding where things are going, and making sure that people are protected, or the content creators are protected, the people who are buying these things are protected. With that, with things like the Red Giants, because initially we were talking about how things are unique, right? With things like the Red Giant, it makes it available to the mass. Will it not be unique then, in essence?
So only one person will own that, right?
Again, it depends, because NFT you can have a one-on-one, so which means one unique. But of course, NFT also you can have a fractional ownership. So one NFT can own by multiple. It depends on what type of strategy you are doing.
All right, interesting.
That's interesting. And I know there's a lot more to explore, but we are running out of time. So we just want to say a big thank you to the both of you for shedding some light on NFTs. And we hope that helped you with your own NFT journey a little bit. If you want to understand more, of course, there are many resources. You can also head to pentas.io to find out a bit more about what they're doing with their NFT space.